My unit, salute. Raw 519 of the year 2025. This is your official amplified review. I, of course, your host, BC. Before we kick things off, a major shout out, support, strength over to Zoey Stark. A nasty injury last night on Raw. Triple threat match with Rhea Ripley and a returning Kairi Sane. You never want to see that happen to any of these pro wrestlers, to any athlete, to anybody who's out there performing / putting their bodies on the line. I said the same thing recently. My New York Knicks against the Boston Celtics, their star player, Jason Tatum, blew out his wheel. And I said immediately, whether that's our opponent or not, and the stakes are so high, it's the playoffs, man. We're trying to get to the finals and win that championship, but you never want to see somebody go down like that. That's not how you want to win. That's not how you want to see somebody lose. Same thing with pro wrestling, man. You never want to see an injury, period. But when it's that gruesome, when it's that nasty, man, and you know that Zoe has already had issues with those legs, blew out an ACL, MCL. In her own words, she blew out the whole thing. And it was a long road to recovery. Recently, she's had her struggles booking-wise. She's kind of been in the doghouse. Her only real televised match was months ago, back in January. If you take out the Royal Rumble and you take out that weird schmaz gauntlet tag team match from a month ago, her really only televised event was several months ago. So this was her first matchup back. And somebody thought it was a brilliant idea. Somebody, a son-in-law, thought it was a good idea to bring back Zoey Stark into a match where another female hasn't wrestled in 6 months, since December, Kairi Sane. Let's put both of them in a match together. There won't be any timing issues, will there be? And of course, Kairi was out of place for too long. She was way on the east coast of the ring. Zoe's on the west coast trying to do that springboard missile drop kick. And Zoe was waiting. Nobody's at fault here. It's a timing issue. Kairi waited too long. Zoe got impatient because she was waiting. And Zoe finally just launched herself. But Kairi was still all the way to the East Coast talking trash to Rhea Ripley. There was no way Zoe was going to go from west to east. And something like that wasn't going to be a very real possibility. And unfortunately, it was the worst of the worst. The leg just totally went where it wasn't. It snapped back. Her leg was... half the leg was going this way, the other half was going that way. The doc came in. She tried to put weight on it during commercial break, and the doc ended up having to pick her up. That's how bad this is, and then was escorted to the back. She was in tears in agonizing pain. And again, this is somebody who has already had these issues in the past with those legs. We were hearing that most likely she was going to be not re-signed by the company. They were going to just flatline the rest of her contract. She was unfortunately most likely going to pick up some L's along the way and then told all the best in your future endeavors. So this might expedite that process, unfortunately. But we wish Zoe all the best. You never want to see that. That was nasty. And, Kairi left a statement saying, man, hopefully we get to have a match. I look forward to having a match with you in the future. Different circumstances, something like that. And I don't think Kairi understands, man. I don't know if that's going to happen. Because the company was not too high on Zoe. I never thought Zoe really got the opportunity to showcase what she can do. It was always start, stop. But we wish her the best. I just had to start off the show in this cold open teaser. That was a nasty injury last night. I was live for the first half of Raw. And when I cut the stream, like a minute or two later, that injury happened. So I was not able to talk about it in that live stream. For everybody that caught that live stream, salute. You guys rock that out, man. You made another miserable show tolerable. You made it watchable. You always thank BC. Thank you for making this watchable. Thank you, BC. You're more entertaining than the show. I appreciate the words, But I don't think you guys understand. When you tune into those live streams and we do those watch-alongs, you're making it tolerable. Because I saw nothing but commercials throughout the entire stream. While Netflix was on with Monday Night Raw, man, and we were doing our live, we had 9 commercials in the first hour. Commercial breaks, not just commercials, probably 86 commercials. I can't believe what we are witnessing, but I kind of can, right? Netflix is going to opt out after 5 years. They have an opt-out clause. And they already see that the numbers are cut in half, and now they're going even below 3 million globally. They're already at 2.9, 2.8, and I believe they've hit 2.7, correct? Domestically, US, they're pulling 1.2 at best. So if they've lost 400,000 viewers since when they were on the USA Network cable just a few months ago, January. So Netflix is most likely going to opt out in 5 years. The company's probably going to be sold within 2 years to Saudi. Hunter Hearst Helmsley won't even be in that position in 2 years. Everybody's cashing out. The company's trying to cash out. They're trying to liquidate. They're trying to get every penny out of their consumer that they can while giving you zero content that's creative or showing any energy or pulse. So you're seeing that in these shows. They just want to get them done, fulfill their commitments to the Netflix and to the USA Network, and on to the next. And Netflix is trying to recoup as much money as they can before they opt out. So you're seeing advertisement after advertisement after advertisement. Netflix don't care. They want their money back. The company doesn't care if you're getting anything creative or anything fun worth watching. They just want to get every money out of you as well. All their money. Fulfill their commitments. Match, 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 match. On to the next show. Match, 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 match. On to the next show. Are you guys not seeing this? This is what's happening, man. I'm telling you what is happening behind the scenes so you're not shocked a couple years down the road when all this news breaks and Netflix is opting out and the company's being sold. But I thought we were in this then, now, forever, together. That's what you said in the opening signature. Hunter Helmsley, it was your voice. You said we were in this together. Nobody's in that. They're in it for the money. You notice this was another rough show to get through, man, revolving around chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Chicken nuggets was the main takeaway from this show. I'm not even joking. That was the big trend. When this Raw went off the air. Okay, Saturday night main event go-home show. Money in the Bank in a few weeks. Coming off of WrestleMania. And your big headline, your big thread, your biggest talking point was chicken nuggets. That should tell you something. And then there's CM Punk, who was backstage the whole show, and they decided to use him in the final 60 seconds to brawl with Rollins again. Could you imagine the stories you could have with CM Punk? One of the only guys on the entire show, maybe the whole roster, that can bring a pulse to these shows. And Helmsley keeps him in the back to the final 60 seconds where he can plaster his name, Paul Levesque McMahon, in the credits over CM Punk's face as he's brawling. This almost seems like he's got Punk and he's just it's going to be a little internal sabotage. I'm not going to give you a Mania main event. I'm going to give that to Jason Uso. He's going to win the Rumble. He's going to be in a World Championship match at Mania. He's going to win the championship. You will bring you out in the final 60 seconds of a Raw. Brawl with Rollins. Yeah, go brawl. I'll plaster my name over you and we'll end the show. CM Punk was backstage the entire night while we had to go through match after match after match. Another miserably lazy, pathetic show with good wrestling. Meanwhile, Punk was there the whole time. Comes out and then ends the show 60 seconds later. I just don't understand how you don't have a Monopoly thread. A Monopoly thread is something where you start off a show with a really good hook storyline and you keep going back to it throughout the show. And at the end of the night, you have a culminating segment, a culminating main event spot. Now, it doesn't have to even be a match, but that story kind of culminates at the end of the event. And if you do it properly, you have a cliffhanger. And that story continues next week. And now it's must-see TV. You have to see what happens next week. A Monopoly thread. And it speaks for itself in case you're wondering. Monopoly meaning you have real estate on the entire show. Your storyline is the blueprint of the show. It's a monopoly. You have a monopoly on the shit. It's called a monopoly thread. It's not that we had no monopoly thread. We just had match after match after match after match after match. Oh, it's CM Punk. 60 seconds later. Good night, everybody. What? What just happened? Chicken nuggets. That's what happened. Chicken nuggets. We'll talk about it, man. I was live for the first hour and a half, the first half of the show, plus. But we'll go over that. My thoughts, here we are the next morning. I'll give you my thoughts. Have they changed from last night when we were live? If you caught that live stream, I wasn't happy about it at all. Has my thoughts changed on it? In this teaser, I'll tell you straight up, no. But we'll go over everything, and then we'll go over everything that we did not get to witness during that live stream. The triple threat with Rhea Ripley, the injury to Zoe, Kairi's return just to be looking up at the lights. Good job, Hunter Helmsley. Welcome back, Kairi. But basically, it was supposed to be Zoe that was looking up at the lights. Oh, that's great. Kairi still loses. It's a triple threat. And then we'll go to the main event, which is a 95th matchup between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker. That ends in another schmaz that the commentators refuse to say is a DQ. That's their new thing in the company. That's your teaser, man. I could keep going and going, but my coffee's been done for several minutes now, as you probably heard when we started this review. So I'm going to top off my coffee, take you guys to the opening signature, come right on back. We're going to talk all things Raw 5/19/25, amplified style. It's 44 dive. We're rolling. BC in the unit. Let's do this. Unit, salute, let's go. Raw 5/19/2025. Gunther and Logan Paul open this show. If you ever want a WTF moment, man, you're thinking, well, BC, isn't that two heels? Logan Paul and Gunther, that's two heels, middle of the ring, cutting a promo on one another. What does that accomplish? Well, the answer, obviously, that's rhetorical. Nothing. It accomplishes nothing. And yes, it's two heels. And Gunther, we think, is a heel. We don't know. Gunther doesn't know what he is. Hunter Helmsley doesn't know what Gunther is. I don't know if you can botch somebody like Gunther any more than he has already been botched by Paul Levesque McMahon, the son-in-law. I don't think it's possible. It has to be internal sabotage at this point. At this point, you would have to know, you would consciously have to know how badly you are booking Gunther. Match after match with top faces like Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, and afterwards shaking their hands. Yeah, that's what a diabolical heel would do. Tapping out to his own move, the chokehold, in 8 seconds to lose the world title to tag team Jason Uso, a guy that maybe hits the gym once or twice a month. A guy that gets winded during a promo. Uses Gunther's own move in 8 seconds. It's not like it's a non-title match, so it doesn't matter. I just want to hit the showers. I don't care about this. I'll tap out. No, the world title's on the line. In 8 seconds, he's tapping out. And then a few weeks later, Gunther locks his chokehold on a commentator, Pat McAfee. And McAfee's pretty much on vacation while under that chokehold. He's ordering lattes, margaritas, ordering room service, while a chokehold is applied on him. Because Pat McAfee wasn't tapping out. He's like, oh, I can keep going with this. But Gunther tapped out to his own, and it doesn't... See, what BC's not being overly critical. We're not being too harsh. We're not nitpicking. This is the booking of these wrestlers. And then anybody who has their bar semi-raised... semi-raised... Anybody that uses just a shred of common sense and logic, we have to dissect what we're witnessing. We're not going to sugarcoat and BS to a level that is absolutely just bogus. It's a farce. This is what the company is producing. This is what Hunter is presenting. Yeah, we're going to talk about it and how bad it is. We wish we were talking about how good it is. But that's Gunther. And then you wonder why there's just this inconsistency and this lack of connection when there should already be an established connection. We should already look at Gunther as one of the most diabolical heels to come across this business in decades. But we're not. So Gunther's in there with Logan Paul, and the crowd is like, what do we even do? So I think 1 or 2 times they actually applauded Gunther. I think 1 or 2 times they applauded Logan Paul. How bad is this? When you got 2 heels in there and you're getting sympathy for them. I mean, the crowd is like, do we cheer? Do we just clap? Do we sing? Do we just start yeeting out of nowhere even though Jey Uso's not out there? The crowd doesn't know what to do. And Gunther's just like, if there's a chance you get past Jey Uso and you win that title, you will have to face me. And Logan Paul is like, yeah, bring it on. So we're spending the first 15 minutes of the show establishing this friction between these 2 heels. And if there was any thread throughout the night, that was it. Heels just kept coming across heels last night backstage. Seth Rollins came up to Logan Paul. I think Rollins came up to Gunther at one point backstage. Chad Gable had some friction with the New Day backstage in Adam Pearce's office. That's right, Chad Gable, the heel. New Day, supposedly the heels. That's just the whole night. That's what we did. That's what I mean, right? We're not being overly critical. We're not being too harsh. We're not nitpicking. BC just happens to be the best at what I do in dissecting and calling out professional wrestling. I'm really good at this thing. So I watch with a keen eye. I don't have my bar way up here, but yes, it's up here. It's not down here. They have to give us professional wrestling. They have to give us a television show that makes sense, that is entertaining, that makes us think in a positive way, where we actually want to see everything unfold. And these characters, we want to follow their trajectory and their story. We want to hang at the edge of our seats for these storylines and these feuds. We want to be captivated by what we are witnessing. We get none of that. So then we review these shows. What do you think I'm going to talk about, man? The opening segment, the first 15 minutes is 2 heels spatting off at one another. And then the rest of the night, heels were just having friction with other heels. That's not fun for anybody. Nobody's established. It's a detriment to the talent. The talent doesn't even know what they are. One week they're taking on a face, the next week a heel. The next week they're cutting a promo on a face. The next week they're cutting a promo on another heel. So you're getting a different version every week. There's no consistency. And then you wonder why there's no consistency in reaction. There's no connection of a reaction from your audience. It's wild, man. I can go on and on. I was live for that. Like I said, the first half of this show, I was live with my amplified unit. And I couldn't believe that that's how we started the show. And then the final 60 seconds of the promo, this whole 15-minute segment, Jey Uso comes from behind in the middle of the ring, comes from behind Logan Paul and super kicks Logan Paul. And you just knew, by the end of the night, you knew Logan Paul was getting the receipt. It was going to be a 50-50 booked thing leading in. That was their big hook for Saturday night's main event, was a 50-50 booked receipt angle. So Jay, you super kick Logan, and then by the end of the night, Logan will get you back. Tag your it. This is what I say. You could have any toddler with a crayons and a coloring book, and they could book WWE today. It's not just geared toward kids, right? It's not. The show isn't just for kids these days. It could be written by kids. That was their big Saturday night's main event hook, their big angle for the world title. A tag your it receipt angle. And the second he got super kicked, Logan Paul got super kicked, you knew, man, by the end of the night, it's just going to be a receipt. And we'll get to that, but BC was right. I spent way too long on the opening segment, to be honest with you. This should have been done in 60 seconds, but I just want you guys to understand just how bad this booking truly is. Like, if you were wondering, by now you know how bad Hunter Hearst Helmsley is at booking, at being creative, right? He's not. He's not a writer. He's not creative. He sucks at this job. By now you know that, if you're being honest with yourself. Last night, I feel broke everybody. I feel like the community finally woke up a lot more last night, because the general consensus I'm seeing and getting is that everybody was frustrated with last night's show. No energy, nothing making sense. Boring is the word that comes to mind. Last night, the community finally just had enough. Well, welcome. Join the club. Should have been here long before. But if you're wondering how bad Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon is, the son-in-law, really bad. Like, really bad. Like, this type of bad. Like, that's how you're starting your show bad. Yeah. And then we go into the first of just many matches, match after match after match after match, because this is the new thing. Chuck a bunch of matches at you, fill up the show, and then say goodnight, everybody. We fulfilled our commitment to Netflix. We fulfilled our commitment to NBC Universal, Comcast, USA Network, and on to the next. What's the next avenue that we can make our money? Because they already made their money from this, guys. USA already paid for Friday Night SmackDown. They get nothing out of giving you fun, entertaining, intriguing content. They get nothing. They already made their money. Netflix has already given their money. Their only incentive is to try to get Netflix to stay with them for 5 years after their opt-out, because I think they're opting out after 5 years. So maybe if they want to stay with Netflix, that would be their only incentive. Looks like they don't care. They already made more than enough from Netflix. They're more than okay with opting out after 5. In their minds, they think they can get an even better deal after 5 years. Ain't going to happen because there ain't going to be enough audience left. You saw that with Fox. Fox declined to renew. Fox said, no, thank you, man. This is not the return on our investment that we thought we were going to get. So Fox told WWE, fuck off. Just like Helmsley is telling fans that don't like what they're viewing and know that this product should be better. Hunter told the fans to fuck off. Well, Fox told WWE to fuck off. And Netflix will do that. And other conglomerates will do the same if this company doesn't pull their own head out of their own ass. That's the only option. But right now, they don't feel like they have to deliver anything. They don't have to spend one iota of energy or concentrate on any of these shows, give any thought behind it, because they're already making their money. So they just want to get these shows done with. And it is obvious now more than ever when you're getting 1,000 matches every single show. You're getting a lot of wrestling on a wrestling show. I hope that entertained you. A bunch of fake fights nonstop. Without storylines that are captivating us, without larger-than-life characters that we actually care about. You're getting a bunch of fake fights, predetermined, rehearsed, all pre-planned. And if you needed any more evidence of that, if you needed to be smacked in the face with that realization nonstop, Hunter Helmsley is doing that because he is the chief, not content officer. He is the chief exposing officer because he is exposing this industry nonstop. He even has a new show coming out on Netflix called Unreal, where he's going to pull back the curtain and show you all the tricks, right? He's going to show you how he comes up with all his decisions. He's going to take you in the writer's room. He's going to show you just how fake all of this is. He's going to expose it all. And he's hoping that you don't care, that you enjoy all the tricks being exposed and go back to watching your fake fighting. That's all we're witnessing. 2 to 3 hours, several times a week, of a bunch of wrestlers doing wrestling moves. Is that what really drew you to pro wrestling, honestly? When you fell in love with wrestling, where you're going, wow, the moves, I gotta do a moonsault on my trampoline. It wasn't the characters, it wasn't the stories, it wasn't like, whoa, man, that was amazing, I gotta see what happens. It was, wow, what a suicide dive. What a 450 plancha. This is wrestling today, man. This is it. Anyway, did I even get into it's just the frustration, man. The frustration in watching these shows nonstop, and the lack of care, and the lack of just energy, and the lack of anybody giving a flying fuck about what they're doing. And then you see people like Zoey Stark breaking their legs for this, when she probably knows more than anybody that when her contract is up, they're not bringing her back, but she's still willing to blow out her wheels for what she loves. But they wouldn't give Zoe a story, would they? They wouldn't give her the time of day, would they? No. But that's how much she tried to prove herself. But unless you're a Hunter Hearst Helmsley person, you're not getting anything in this company, bro. They said that about Vince, and they ripped Vince apart. Helmsley's even worse when it comes to either you're a Hunter guy or you're not. And if you're not, he will absolutely book you into the ground. Penta and Styles versus Judgment Day. Finn Balor pins Penta. Awesome. TK fumbled. Remember, that's all we heard when he lost Penta, and he lost Phoenix, and he lost Aleister Black, and he lost Rusev. Did he fumble? Did he fumble, or is it excess baggage? And if he fumbled, what did Hunter Helmsley do? Helmsley's throwing nothing but interceptions then. Am I right? What the fuck is Rusev doing? Every week he's doing the same redemption story that he was doing in AEW. Right? He's just doing these little vignettes, and he's talking about how the masters are telling him that he's got to defeat Tozawa, or who knows who. I don't even know who. But what are we doing with... So he debuts in a wrestling match, and then they take him off the road to cut the vignettes. Ass backwards. Wouldn't you cut the vignettes first? Wouldn't you get everybody like back into it? No. They wanted the initial pop. He's back. And then they take him off. And then they try to build him up. What are you doing? And is he going to be planted securely in the mid-card with Tozawa and all them? I'm sure he will be. What's he doing? What's Aleister Black doing, guys? He's having nothing but matches with Miz and Mello Hayes. Non-stop. When these shows go off the air, nobody's talking about Rusev. Nobody's talking about Aleister Black. This past Friday, Ray Phoenix was looking up at the lights, getting pinned in a nonsensical tag match. That's Ray Phoenix. Looking up at the lights in a nonsensical tag match. Penta, his tag team partner in the Lucha Bros, no better. This Monday last night, he was looking up at the lights in a nonsensical tag match. Both collecting weird L's. Is Hunter cooking on them? Or is Hunter throwing interceptions? If Tony Khan is fumbling, then Hunter Hearst Helmsley is throwing nothing but interceptions. He got AEW talent back that was already WWE's in the first place. Ooh! Tony Khan's losing Mariah May. He's fumbling. Oh, I can't wait to see the touchdown Hail Mary pass that Hunter Hearst Helmsley has with Mariah May. Please. She'll be wrestling on Main Event within the first 3 months. Penta looking up at the lights. Balor and J.D. McDonald's wins this matchup. Then we get to the triple threat match, Money in the Bank qualifier for the ladies. Roxy, Natalya, Becky Lynch. Oh, you ain't gonna believe this. So Roxy defeats Natalya and Becky Lynch. Lyra takes out Lynch. That's how, because I told you guys, there's no way Natty's winning this thing. And Natty did phenomenal in that match, man. It was sloppy, yes, but Natty did everything she could to try to make this work. Natty was just in a zone, man. But you can't have her win this because you haven't booked her properly enough to just all of a sudden being in a Money in the Bank ladder match. You can't do that. So it comes down to Lynch or Roxy. And you know that if they're going to go Roxy, then Lyra is going to be the excuse, right? Lyra is going to take out Becky, and that's the road that they decided to go on. So Becky loses nothing because she's going to eventually get that IC title from Lyra. Roxy could really use that Money in the Bank ladder match, and Roxy wins this. So I'm just glad that Roxy finally got a W. Roxy hits Pop Rocks on Natty for the win. But it was backstage, man. This is more newsworthy than the actual Money in the Bank qualifying for Roxy. Roxy is introduced to the Judgment Day via Finn Balor. And she comes with gifts. A bag of apples for Carlito and a box of chicken nuggets for Dominic Mysterio. It was just one of those moments when the show is so bad as it is. And they're doing a chicken nuggets storyline. Dominic gets his chicken tendies. And so Carlito and Dominic are like, oh, gifts. Raquel isn't so happy, right? Raquel's pissed off. Raquel's like, all right, you dropped off your gifts. You can go now. And Raquel tells Finn Balor, Liv's going to hear about this. And Finn's like, I know she will, with a smile. It's almost so he's trying to get under Liv's skin. So Liv and Finn still have this ongoing issue between the two. This is just it's a recycled angle with the same characters, right? I mean, you switch out a couple, but it's a recycled angle within the Judgment Day. We already saw this when Balor brought in JD McDonald's and Damian Priest was not happy. He wanted McDonald's out of the clubhouse. Damian Priest was pissed. What are you doing, Finn? Why are you bringing this outsider in? So they're doing the same thing, but with the ladies. Finn is bringing in Roxy, and it's Raquel that doesn't want her there. And she knows that Liv Morgan is not going to want her, especially if you're bringing her man chicken nuggies, tendies. Only Liv gives him his tendies. So even though this is recycled, even though this is completely random, Roxy just popping up into the clubhouse. In some weird way, and in a major way, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I always call it right down the middle, man. 44 dive, amplified truth always. In a weird way, weird. This makes maybe not sense because it's so random, but it could actually be good. It could be beneficial. I think that's the best way to put it, right? I can't say it makes sense. Hopefully it ends up making sense if they do this correctly. But it has potential, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think Hunter Hearst Helmsley either knows how or cares to make Liv Morgan a really incredible heel. She's beloved by a lot of the crowd, and we saw that when Hunter sees that the crowd likes a heel, he just kind of turns them straight tweener. Or, yeah, I can't even say turns them completely because they still end up being a tweener. But he just gives up. When the crowd is cheering the heel, that's where the promoter, the creator, the booker, that's where they have to double down and book that heel into a position where the crowd, even though they love this person, they still are going to boo. Because, I mean, they're laying into the crowd. Liv Morgan's got to start insulting the crowd, start flipping out on them, start saying, I don't need you, take your cheers, shove them up your ass. That's what a heel has to do if they start getting cheered. But we already saw that Hunter doesn't want to do that. If they start getting cheered a little, then we'll just turn you. We'll have you be a tweener. So I don't think he cares to have Liv Morgan to be a big heel. He doesn't mind the crowd cheering her. So eventually she'll have to go face, I'm guessing, right? So Raquel matching up with Roxy, not only does it just look more appealing, you could do so much more, it fits better, I feel, but it's a way for Liv to eventually be on the outs of Judgment Day. Roxy and Raquel, there's a story there. And what happened to Rhea Ripley because of Liv Morgan now happens to Liv Morgan. Karma going full circle. I'm trying to take what we're seeing and try to put creativity, try to put some life into it. Usually you watch these shows from top to bottom and there's nothing you can even do that with. It's so bad. At least this is something. I can't believe I'm saying this with something revolving around chicken nuggets. But, I mean, you could make something out of this. Or it could just fall flat on its face and Hunter doesn't know where he's going with it. And he's just like, hey, put Roxy into the clubhouse. That'll be funny. We'll have chicken nuggets. I don't even know if Helmsley is even putting any thought into this. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not trying to get anyone's hopes up that this is going to lead to anything special. I'm just saying it has potential. But we all know that some words that Hunter Hearst Helmsley does not gel with, long-term booking. Long-term storytelling. Hunter Helmsley is one of the worst at long-term booking. He does not know how to do it. He doesn't know how to... I don't think he cares to do it. Short-term box booking is what Helmsley does. So this could fall flat on its face within 1 week. Hopefully not. But that was Roxy's night. Big W and introduced to the Judgment Day and giving out gifts, apples, and chicken nuggets and smiles. Liv Morgan's not going to be happy with that. Don't you give nuggets to her dirty dom. Next up was Sheamus pinning Grayson Waller. That's all I have in my notes. That's all I have. I was live for that too. It was so bad. I was just reading super chats. Thank goodness my unit was just chucking coffee so we have things to talk about and shooting the shit, because this was just Sheamus beating Grayson Waller. No, BC, maybe something happened after the match. But no, nothing, guys. Austin Theory was just kind of smirking because Grayson Waller's been smiling at Austin Theory losing, so Austin's like, what's going to happen? Are they going to break up, guys? And then what? Are they both going to finally get some interesting, intriguing booking? I don't know what we're supposed to... I don't know. Sheamus beats Grayson Waller. I'm trying to drag this out. There's nothing to drag out. We just have to move on. Nothing happened here. And this is where we get to Zoey Stark's just nasty, man, gruesome injury. And again, much strength support over to Zoey. But this was Rhea Ripley, Zoey Stark, and a returning Kairi Sane. And Zoe's knee just implodes. Again, I said this in the cold open, because I was able to see a lot of footage on this by now and put the puzzle pieces where they need to be. And you can see that Zoe was just trying to do her springboard missile dropkick from the entrance side of the ring, the west side of the ring. And Kairi is all the way over to the east side where Rhea is on the out. So Rhea's basically at the commentary table, and Kairi is like talking some smack. Zoe is waiting on Kairi, almost like calling for her, like, dude, come on. Kairi is just not getting Kairi just returned, and Kairi's always kind of been like in her own world. It takes Kairi a lot longer to get in position. She's all over the place. She's good, but there's been a lot of timing mishaps with Kairi because she's just never where she's supposed to be. So she still wasn't here. Zoe just felt she was doing this for too long. She was trying to just go. So Zoe finally was like, screw it, I'm going. The problem is Kairi was still not in. Kairi wasn't even fully turned around, I don't think. So by the time Zoe's about to land, I think Kairi was maybe just turning around. And she was still way on the other side of the ring, east side. So Zoe probably overcompensated midair, repositioned, and snapped her leg upon landing. Her bottom half of the leg went the total opposite way that her whole rest of the body was going. It was a gruesome look, a gruesome injury. The match was halted for the moment. We went to an impromptu commercial break. During that commercial break, I was able to obtain some footage where the docs were trying to escort her out and put some weight on it. She couldn't. She was in tears. The doc just scoops her up and hightails it to the back. So something very serious at that point when she could not even put weight on it. Because somebody as strong as Zoe wanted to try to do that. So the match was restarted as just a simplistic one-on-one. They didn't bother to audible to make Kairi look good. They just had Kairi 5 minutes later looking up at the lights to get Rhea Ripley into Money in the Bank. So there you go. Welcome back, Kairi. Because what's the consolation prize? What are you going to try to tell me? BC, Zoe was supposed to lose. This is Zoe's first televised match since January. I'm not counting that weird schmaz gauntlet tag match from a month ago, and I'm not counting the Royal Rumble. This was her first real advertised matchup or just any match of relevancy. This was her first match in months on TV. Outside a main event. And Kairi, she's been gone for 6 months, since December, early December. And you just feed both these ladies to Rhea Ripley, of all people. No, sorry, not sorry. Rhea Ripley does nothing for BC. There's a look there, yes. That's where it ends. I see nothing more. I get no feeling or emotion when Rhea Ripley's music hits, or when Rhea Ripley comes down the aisle, or when Rhea Ripley is wrestling. I get nothing. There's no feeling at all with Rhea Ripley. But I always give the very best over to her booking because that's the way Helmsley wants to go. Good for her. Get your shine, right? That's why I never rip apart Rhea's booking, or at least I try not to. But, I mean, you can't cross the levels of absurdity, and that's what we're starting to do. Rhea Ripley losing her title weeks before Mania. That's just a booking botch. And then she cries her way into the triple threat match, so she gets a Mania match anyway. She didn't win the Royal Rumble. She didn't win Elimination Chamber. So it renders those matches completely useless, meaningless. And she cries her way into the match. She beats people that are just coming back like Kairi, and beats somebody who's never on TV like Zoe. I mean, how far are we willing to go? How many mountains are we willing to move for somebody like Rhea Ripley? No. If you're asking BC, man, was this the best way to bring back Kairi Sane? No. Looking up at the lights on her first match back? Of course not. Of course that's not how you book Kairi Sane. It's her first match back, dude. You're not going to make people care if you don't care. This was fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. We wish Zoe the very best, man. Speedy recovery, but not too speedy, right? I think these injuries are starting to pile up, and we see that the company doesn't like that. They saw that with Tegan Nox and others, and so they're parting ways with that type of thing. And we know that Hunter's not too high on Zoe anyway, so the writing was on the wall. When her contract was up, that was probably going to be it anyway. Now that she's injured. And if you think they won't do that while you're injured, they absolutely will, man. Tegan Nox is a prime example. But we wish Zoe the absolute best. And then I believe did we go into the main event at that part? At that point? I think we did, right? Jason Uso versus Braun Breaker, I believe, was next up. This was the main event. This was a DQ. Rollins attacked Uso. So Braun Breaker is disqualified, but commentary won't tell you that. That's their new thing. DQs don't matter anymore. That doesn't decide a match, right? Alistair just won a match via DQ. Miz attacked Alistair. Mello gets DQ'd, but instead, Wade Barrett said that the match was thrown out. And then seconds later, Joe Tessitore said nobody wins this match because of the Miz interference. No, absolutely somebody won. It's called DQ. Alistair won. And last week it happened. I forgot the match. And that's when I first noticed that. And then with the Alistair matchup this past Friday, it was beyond noticeable that's the new road they're going down. And then last night they did it again. So this is just Hunter saying, yeah, I'm giving you bad booking, but I'm hoping you don't notice if we tell you there's no clear winner or loser. Everybody wins, right? Or at least nobody loses. It's completely stupid. Sami Zayn comes out to even the odds post-match, and then CM Punk comes out as well. So, if you are wondering, yes, it's very, very true. If you're wondering, for the second week in a row, the faces outweighed the heels. Your heels there's too many faces for the angles. So you had Uso, Sammy, and Punk against Rollins and Braun Breaker. What a badass faction. The faces are beating them up yet again. Last week they were running away from the faces. There was too many of them. And this week they're just getting beat up by them. Right? The show ends with CM Punk and Sami Zayn beating up Braun Breaker and Rollins. And then in the ring, Jey Uso turns around and he gets knocked out by Logan Paul. Remember I said at the beginning of the review, the second you saw Uso super kick Logan, because this is the toddler booking of Hunter Helmsley, you knew that there was going to be the coloring book receipt later on, because a toddler can do this with a crayon and a coloring book. You get knocked out at the beginning of the show, and then at the end, you knock out the guy who knocked you out. Yeah, you got your receipt back already. And Logan's smiling at the camera, and we cut back to CM Punk beating up Rollins or something, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, and Paul Levesque McMahon and Lee Fitting's credit pops up. Right? Talk about ruining a show any more than it already is. Let's have some credits ruin any suspense of it. You know what I mean? Like, even a movie will fade to black before the credits pop up because the movie wants you to digest what you just witnessed, right? That's why if you go to a movie, it fades to black. And after several seconds, the credits will slowly start to come up because it doesn't want to ruin what you just witnessed. It wants you to still be in that, still suspend your disbelief, or what I call belief, and enter the wacky world of the movie you were just witnessing, or the show that you were just watching, the event you were just watching. WWE, man, in the middle of a brawl, they're just popping up credits. What the fuck are we does Hunter Helmsley really need to remind everybody he's producing this garbage? We know you're running the show, bro. We're watching it. We know exactly who's in charge. Trust me. It's not that hard to figure out. But just judging how bad the show is in totality. We know who's right. You don't have to put your name up, bro. And the show goes off there. You had CM Punk backstage the entire night on another shit show, and you use him for 60 seconds. Yeah. Okay, buddy. That's Monday Night Raw, man. The cool thing about last night is it just seemed like the community is finally waking up even more, right? Even after a shit show WrestleMania season, it was non-existent. It did not feel like Mania. Mania was fucking trash. But there were still so many people willing to give Hunter the benefit of the doubt, right? It's The Rock. The Rock is solely to blame for Mania being a failure. Okay, what about the whole season? What about every other match? What about the book? But okay, they still wanted to believe that, okay, it was just a bad season. Helmsley's coming back strong now. Last night, it just felt like everyone was like, okay, something's not right here, man. Helmsley's really bad at this. The shows are complete garbage, and it doesn't look like they're getting better. And with this new formula of just more matches than ever before, so you don't have to care anymore, even less than you did before, like everybody is finally raising that red flag, right? Everyone is finally like, hold on, time out. Even it felt like there was just a shift last night where like we are finally coming together as a community because we do love this. We love these companies. We love pro wrestling. We want to truly see it be great again. And it's almost like last night we finally just came together and we're like, dude, this is bad. Like Helmsley's bad. These shows are bad. So I don't know if that truly changes anything because I don't think Helmsley and them care. I really don't. I think it's business as usual now, per usual. It's business as business does, as business comes. Every single show is just fulfilling their commitments onto the next. And that's the problem. But that's what I got. I can only do so much. I put together just a couple days ago, man. I put up that upload, right? I gave Helmsley and WWE the blueprint to put on a good show. 6 simple steps that as long as you check them off for every show, you're most likely going to have a good and probably a great show. I gave them a blueprint for free. Check that upload out, guys. You'll see the thumbnail. 6 simple steps to make WWE Raw and SmackDown watchable, successful, and great again. That's the headline. Check it out. I gave them that for free. I don't even want the credit for it. I gave it to them and I was like, blah, 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 blah. I don't need any credit. No pat on the back. Take it. Give us good shows. That's all we're asking for. Give us fun, captivating, interesting, intriguing, fun shows, man. Put some life, some energy into these shows, man. Make us care. That's all we're asking for. That's literally it. But remains to be seen if they take that free advice and give us what you're paying for, right? You guys are paying thousands of dollars to show up to these shows. I hope you truly enjoy what they're giving you in return. Is it worth the $5,000, $10,000 for the ticket? Is it worth spending 3 hours of your Friday night or 2.5 to 3 hours on your Monday night, 4 hours on a Saturday or Sunday night PLE? Is it worth it? Is this the best they can do? That's not even close. The bar for WWE is down here. You can't even see it. We're just asking them to get to here right now. We're not asking for up here. We're asking just, can you give us like close to bare minimum? That's what I got for you guys, man. Raw 5/19/25, 44 dive. That's a wrap. Until next time. There will be that next time. BC in the unit. we're saying check you. Salute.